morning, students. Tomorrow morning, a wonderful thing is happening in the pre-dawn hours around 4:15 in the morning for us. It is going to be a total lunar eclipse. What is a lunar eclipse?
And Mr. Fields, why can't we do this sometime during the day? I'm going to be sleeping at 4:15 in the morning.
Well, this is why. The total lunar eclipse has to happen at nighttime, and the total solar eclipse has to happen during the day. Let's look at the reasons why. For a solar eclipse, we're going to have this flashlight as the sun, and you're there on the Earth, and we're going to have the moon pass in front of the Earth, and it's going to block out the sun just temporarily, and that is a solar eclipse. Now, on the other hand, if we're going to have a lunar eclipse, the sun needs to be on the other side of the Earth. So if we have, this is our Earth right here. Let's see, can you see that? Okay, so here's our Earth, and here's our moon. Now, the moon needs to have a shadow of the Earth cast on it. For a lunar eclipse, you have the sun on this side, here's the Earth, and here is the shadow of the Earth. The moon, as it's going through its phases, at this point here is starting to come into the full moon phase, all right? And as the Earth is turning, sometimes we're seeing it, sometimes we're not. The Earth is turning, this side is nighttime, this side is daytime. When the moon passes into the shadow of the Earth, it's going to pass in so the people on the moon, or on the nighttime side, are able to see the eclipse of the moon. When we're looking at a solar eclipse, the moon is passing and casting its shadow on the Earth, and that is only going to cast a shadow on certain parts of the Earth because the moon is so much smaller. But the moon casting its shadow happens during the daytime. It's happening during the nighttime for the people on this side of the world, but they can't see it, so they'll have to hope that it's still happening when they're on the daytime side. But it doesn't happen for very long. So this is a solar eclipse, and this is a lunar eclipse. Now, when we have a lunar eclipse, the shadow of the Earth actually changes the color of the moon, because once it passes into the shadow, completely in the shadow, the only light that's hitting the moon is the light that's filtered through the atmosphere of the Earth, where some of those light waves are absorbed, some of them are slowed down a bit, and the only light that's coming through is the red end of the spectrum. Now, on the visible light spectrum, we have all of these different colors, and these colors have different wavelengths. We have the purple end of the spectrum, which has
the shortest wavelength
and the most energy, and then the slowest, longest end of the spectrum, the red end of the spectrum, which has the longest wavelengths. These waves are long and slow. This is what we see when there is a beautiful sunrise or sunset, or after a rain when there's a lot of water particles in the air that the light is bouncing off of and getting absorbed by, or as we've seen with our wildfires, we see that the light in the sky is slowed down by all the smoke particles. I hope you have a chance to see the super full moon eclipse tomorrow morning, but you really should be sleeping, so maybe I didn't tell you that. Have a great day, guys. Hey guys, here I am up way too early. It's like 2:30 in the morning, but I want to see what this eclipse looks like, so I'm heading outside to see what I can see. Okay, so I'm outside now, and I know it looks like it's still really dark, but it's bright. It's bright because it's a full moon, the skies are clear, and this is what the moon looks like right now. Not too bad, but let me see if I can get you some better pictures. Okay, so guys, I've been watching this eclipse for the last 40 minutes maybe, and it really is amazing to see. I'm trying to capture it to share it with you, but I am so frustrated at this little thing. This is supposed to clip onto my phone and attach to the telescope so that I can take pictures of what I'm seeing, and it's just so frustrating. I'm spending so much time trying to attach it and get it lined up to see what's through the lens that I'm missing too much of the show. Right now it's a little over halfway covered, the moon, and looking forward to seeing the rest of it. I'll keep trying. Now, one thing I noticed while I'm out here, the eclipse is probably 3/4 of the way through, and when I first came out it was a full moon and the whole backyard was lit up very brightly. Now when I walk around I see it's very dark because the light from the moon is so much less. It really makes a difference on the environment. I'm also a little bit worried that when the eclipse meets its full maximum, it's going to have the moon dipped below that building over there as it's setting. Sun rises, sun sets, the moon rises, and the moon sets. And the moon is due to set within the next hour, but I don't think I have that long before it dips below the building, so I might have to move my setup to the middle of the street or something. We'll see. Alright, so now guys, it's about, 5/8 of the way covered up by the shadow of the earth and eagerly waiting it. I'm making some toast and having some tea, and got my daughter up in the middle of the dark to see this, and really excited to see what happens when it gets completely covered. Right now at 4:44 a.m. and the eclipse is about halfway through. So we didn't get the full total blood moon eclipse that we were expecting. We still had just a little hint of light over the very top edge of it. And if you noticed, it moved from the right side to the left side just a little bit. The rest of the moon got as pink as it could possibly get. But this is one of the things, when there's an eclipse of the sun or eclipse of the moon, we have the shadow is setting on a very specific part of the earth, and we were just outside the edge of it. And if you look at this map of the eclipse area, you can see that if we were a little bit west, further into the Pacific Ocean, we would have seen the full eclipse with the moon entirely blocked out and turning even redder. That's it for today. Have a great day, guys.